Energies CAF AFCON 2025 in Morocco. Buy 1 5-litre of lubricant at any Total Energy service station to enter. Promotion ends 15 October 2025. Details on our Facebook page. T's and C's apply.
It is a Star FM sounding good all the time. Every Thursday, we get into relationship goals with Pastor Simba Woloza, our love coach. He is a founder and programs coordinator of Strong Bonds Marriage Africa. Is an author of a book titled The Marriage Handbook and a pastor at Praise City Church. We are looking at when silence is not golden. Pastor Simba, how have you been? Good morning.
I'm good, Vikendi. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, you also forgot to mention that I wasn't in last week.
Oh, you were not in. I was not in as well. So it makes us two.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually on a houseboat.
Really?
With about 13 couples. Kukariba. We really enjoyed it.
Tokumburo, kuti next one. Tonight Steve broadcasting live from the houseboat.
Yeah, we should do
Pastor
that.
Simba, sure.
Yeah, but anyway, it's good to be back, Vikendi. I really missed the show last week. It's something that I'm so used to now. Every Thursday I'm here speaking about what I love, speaking about marriages, relationships in general. So I'm happy. Today, Weekend, we're talking about when silence is not golden. I'm sure you've heard people say silence is golden.
Silence is golden.
And that's how we socialize. Even in class, nyarara. So that pakaipa. So fast forward, now people are married, now people are in relationships. Is silence always golden? So that's the question that we're addressing today. But let me just give you some bit of background why people are suffocating, why people are not talking in relationships, because that's reality on the ground. My relationships, people are suffocating. People are suppressing their emotions. People have so much to say, but the environment is not right for them to speak, and people are just not speaking up. Saka, it's actually a disaster, if you're in a relationship and you don't have a voice. Many people have actually lost their voices and they've drowned in their problems. They can't speak, and it's a disaster in a lot of relationships. So I just want to give you some bit of background. Why are we in that situation where we are suffocating and we are not speaking up? Number one, because of the advice that we get. Just before getting married, I'm sure you go to my bridal showers.
Yes.
And, I get invited to speak to a lot of bridal showers weekend. And I've said to myself, I want to help people unlearn, relearn, and start seeing certain things differently. Because takakura vanochudzwa ma bridal showers or in other women's meetings particularly, kunzi, usataure kana wapinda marriage. Funda mvura muromo, isa mvura muromo unyarara, because the science behind that is that kana une mvura muromo ukataura mvura inobuda. So you want to keep that water, so don't speak. It will help you not to speak. Yeah, in a way it's right, but in another way again it's not entirely right, because we then encourage people to suffocate, not to speak up, yet they are dying on the inside. So we need to bring a balance. So it brings us to a place where we say, okay, there are moments where we must speak up, and then there are moments where we must shut up. Okay? We need to bring that balance. Okay? So it's the advice that we grew up getting, how we're socialized. Kuti, please, isa mvura muromo. Once in marriage, isa mvura muromo. Chirekza kutaura. And in a relationship, in a marriage, even usurukisa mvura cheche muromo, you end up on an imaginary water that you have in your mouth. Because you remember those words,
yes,
and yet you're dying on the inside.
In silence.
And then the other reason is that we don't speak up because we want to keep the peace. But Vicky, tell me, does that bring peace to you? You're just being quiet. You're quiet.
Then passive aggression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of turmoil happening on the inside. A lot of wars, a lot of battles on the inside. You're just not speaking up. You're being quiet, but doesn't mean that you're keeping peace. Because inside Maori Momo, there's a lot of fighting that is happening. So then because people confuse peace with being quiet. Another reason why people don't speak up is because we're trying to avoid escalation, your problem. And we think by being quiet, we are de-escalating the problem. But let me say this.
Yes.
If you don't speak about it, that problem is not going away. You might be thinking I'm de-escalating the issue, but iringopakwa issue icharamba yakakumirira izvenyu mutazoidiscussa mumusi, and many times issue yenenge yasimba because it's been there. You know how it is, kana makangogara asiri kuita anything, asiri kuexercise, tinosimba tigosimba tidaro. So that's what happens to some of these issues when they are packed there and no one is talking about them. Before you know it, they're now big issues. You know, from an end to it's now a mountain, so it becomes a challenge to deal with that. And another thing that has also led to people not speaking up when they find themselves in a relationship or in marriage is because of how we're parented. My parents say, and this is what we must then change. We must change that, going forward when we parent our kids. I mean, if it doesn't help with 90% of the time, I'm just saying to my son, hey, nyarara, usataura, nyarara, ndokurowa nyarara. And when we do that, we don't encourage them to speak up. There are times where we must intentionally set them up kuti vakwanise kutaura, vakwanise kuita speak up. You know what I do with my son? He's only 12 years, turning 13 soon. I put him in that space where he must also be able to speak, even to the other gender. If it's in a shop, endam shop unotenga wega, so that you interact with the other gender. Because if they remain quiet and they don't speak up, then there will be a problem later on, fast forward, and they're in marriage. So when you were raised by an authoritarian parents, because parenting comes different systems. We'll talk about parenting one day. But one of them is authoritarian parenting. And they grow up, get into a relationship, they lose their voice in a relationship. They don't speak up because of how they were raised. But you know what? In marriage, you must know when to talk and when to shut up. Okay? So there are instances where silence is golden, Vikendi. And then there are instances where silence is not golden. So let's start with instances where silence is golden. Because I believe silence sometimes also helps. For instance, if we are in a heated debate, my wife and I, or any other couple out there, imagine if you continue on that trajectory, you're going to muruku exchange our words back and forth, and
someone has to climb down.
Yeah, because as you do that, the intensity increases, isn't
True
it?
Say.
And so someone has to be the peacemaker. So it's okay sometimes to just leave the room. But just for 30 seconds, I'm going to answer 2 weeks, 3 weeks. To
de-escalate.
Yeah. But, when you leave the room, you are saying, okay, in the heat of the moment, things can be said, bad things can be said. So I'd rather, observe the principle that says silence is golden. And I'm mind, I'm not sure about the right, saying it, but they encourage you, what could you have a right, not to speak about things that you're not speaking about. Otherwise, you'll be judged harshly based on what you would have said. So sometimes it makes sense to get into that silence mode. What are these instances, Vikendi, when silence is golden? What are these instances? Number one, not every thought needs to be said. Tagagaraso, a lot comes through our minds, a lot, my feelings, my thoughts. And your brain is divided. I'm explaining this from a layman's perspective. I'm just a pastor. But what I'm told is that your brain is divided into two zones. There's the logic zone and then there's the feeling zone. Feeling station. It's
important.
My way, that feeling zone.
Yes.
Because many of us, we feel certain things and certain thoughts, are in that feeling zone, and we start acting based on the feeling zone, on the feeling station. So you'd rather pass whatever thoughts, whatever feelings you are having, you pass them through the logic center, the logic side of the brain, and then you act rationally. So not every thought needs to be said. Come on, guys. Let's exercise self-control. Isn't self-control is the fruit of the spirit? Saka, let's exercise. Marriage is the right platform for you to exercise self-control. imbonyarara umbodzora mabreaks anditika, because at that moment
before you react,
of course, yeah, in that moment silence is golden. Because pawachazitaura pfungwa dzako, I've seen people that say inini ndotaura pfungwa dzangu andina chokutya handina chokuita sei. It's because you can't regulate your feelings, and that's one key area that we need to take note of as adults. Learn to regulate your feelings, your thoughts. Know when to say and when not to say what is coming to you via your feeling station. I'm looking forward to talking about the feeling station.
Can't wait for that.
Because a lot of us are in a mess right now because of expressing our feelings, but doing so nenzira si right. Are we saying we should not express our feelings? No, we should actually, but it's important for us to know when do we do that, because otherwise you end up saying things like, I regret marrying you, I don't love you anymore, ausumurume pane vamwe varume, or ausumukadzi pane vamwe vakadzi, haugona kubika, things like that. These are things that we don't mean, but it's because we are fighting and we use any word that is at our disposal because we want to push buttons. Saka, not every thought, because those thoughts come. And weekend. Some people that are married, they will confirm with me today, you know what, times I won't go women and chada.
Yes.
Women better end. But if you release that thought right there, then also got this sana.
Yes.
Say we diroro.
Because not I zanziri asha munondo muda man.
Yeah. So in that moment, simply walk away, because silence is golden. And then secondly, when you are angry, weekend, we all get angry. Akuna muna asingaite asha. Even Jesu pachao vakambosvika panguva yavakaita hasha, and we refer that as holy anger. There are some people that say that. So there are times when we are angry because we are human beings. We get angry about many things and all that. And when you are angry, please silence. Remember, silence is golden. Don't speak in the heat of the moment. You will say things that are wrong. Then number 3, when it's a small issue, there are issues that we can do. This is small. Issue, it doesn't warrant that escalation where you then personify the problem, you then join the problem. It's a small issue.
Oh, you then join Munogone problem. You judging one.
Yeah. The issue is I told her bangare majarin do vari see up a counter and pa kitchen counter instead of some sink. Then wautoudzwa zvana mai vako nana sekuru vako zvokumba kwenyu kuti kumba kwenyu mune utsvina imimi vanhu imimi nini come on, it's just a small issue. Let's leave small things small. And it so izvozvo zvinenge zvakatikoshera. Let's leave small things small. And number 4 or number whatever, when you don't have facts, silence is golden. Unatsona panapa kuti andina mafacts akakwana, please keep quiet, zip your mouth. And audi kumhanya. For instance, when it comes to infidelity issues, this is my area, infidelity. I like helping couples in terms of how to recover from infidelity and all that. And my biggest advice, if someone calls me and says, Pastor Simba, murume wangu arita zvakati kana mukadzi wangu arita zvakati, I always say to them, wait until you have enough evidence. Don't just rush, with that kakufungira chet. Please gather as much evidence as you can. If you don't have enough evidence, don't worry. Apana chakavanzika chisingazobude pachena rine manyanga riputirwe. In the near future we'll talk about how to recover from infidelity. But for now, know that kuti, and be assured kuti chakaiba chese chazobuda pachena. So wait, practice patience until you have enough information. Don't act on speculation. Don't act on half information. Don't act on just a rumor. And it many times we do that, but please, silence is golden when you don't have facts. Kana usina facts ngonyara ingota ngwe mnakapusa. Uchaona 2 days down the line, the facts will come, the evidence will come, undisputable evidence will come. And fifthly, when all you want is to just get it off your chest. I've heard many people say, ndakazongotaura because I wanted it off my chest. While it is important for you to vent, while it is important for you to talk about it so that you let it off your chest, but be mindful of this fact. Understand that you are also putting that on someone else's chest.
Okay.
And many times, escalate because I'm not even empathizing and thinking about the recipient, the person who is receiving whatever I'm letting off my chest. So you need to be very careful when you are planning to remove certain things out of your chest. because you may actually complicate the issue or the conflict that we have. Let me remove it out of my chest. Saka, empathy is very key when it comes to that.
So true.
And another reason why we must stay silent sometimes. Remember, about when silence is golden. Because there are times when silence is golden.
True.
But again, there are times when silence is not golden. So we'll get to that maybe next week. But today I'm just looking at the other side because we need to have a balanced approach. I can't just sit here and say, hey, funda imvura muromo musa taura, or taura, express yourself every time and everything. But we need to balance things here. When the timing is wrong, that's another condition. When silence is golden. When the timing is wrong. But please, the timing. Check the timing.
All right.
Timing boy anditi akaneta. His energy levels or her energy levels are low. You guy view ipo pana pa weekend. Yachi ngati tazvezvo ndenya inorara. I need some and suda ipo pana. Come on. We are different in terms of our personalities and it. So it's important for us to wait until the time is right. You can ask your partner, your spouse, Kutisha, when are you available for us to talk? Give them time to prepare their defense outline.
Oh, I timing prepare.
All right. Ambush. That's not fighting fair. Remember, when we're talking about conflict, we're talking about fighting fair. Because fighting, we will always fight. But it's important for us to fight fair. It's unfair. Come on, guys. Give me time to prepare my defense outline. Yeah, so the timing has to be right. For instance, you can't discuss serious issues or have a heated debate in a restaurant and it you know, in public transport. That's wrong timing. In that circumstance, silence is golden. Imbonyarara kusvika maburuka masvika pa bus stop. Masvika pa bus stop futi ombonyarara anditi kusvika masvika kumba. Otherwise, you make a fool of yourself, you know, when you start having such conversations in public. Of course, I spoke about when the energy levels are low. Please, if you are going to engage in a debate, you know, but Sarah, let's make sure that we all have the same amount of energy. Otherwise, it's not worth engaging in that kind of a discussion. And also, when your spouse is in an emotional state, we can't have a normal conversation with this person. Then, in that case, silence is golden. Nyarara, gatsataurai, anything. Silence is golden. So, next weekend, we'll pick it up from there. Because I want us to talk about when silence is not golden. Today, we'll talk about when silence is golden.
When silence is golden.
Where you should not speak up. But next week, okay, the papi paunofa gutaura. Why should you speak up? Because I'm big when it comes to this, because I don't want people to suffocate in a relationship.
This was really helpful. Thank you so much, Pastor Simba. For those who want to get in touch with you, your details and handles,
please come through to me on my WhatsApp 0773 000 000 0773 000 000. And again, I need your number. Your name and your marital status. Don't just say hi, okay? Ipapa silence is not golden. So give me as much information like my name is so-and-so, I am married, so that I know which broadcast list to add you in. Because I've got 2 broadcast lists. I've got the one for marrieds and the one for singles. So every Saturday, if you're single, you receive a message. And every Monday, if you are married, you receive a message that encourages you as you walk in that, in that path, on that path. Otherwise, on social media platform, look out for Pastor Simba Woloza with a W, Pastor Simba Woloza with a W, or Married by Simba across all social media platforms. Remember to love God, love people, and love relationships.
Thank you so much for listening. Back with you on Monday. It is Star FM. Check your time with mine. It is 12 midday. Time for Now Indaba.